So we're picking up this story, James and the Giant Peach, just as James has crawled his way into an enormous peach that's mysteriously grown in his back garden, and he's sat inside with some bug friends of his, and they're just about to set off on an adventure. "We're off!" someone was shouting. "We're off at last!" James woke up with a jump and looked around him. The creatures were all out of their hammocks and moving excitedly around the room. Suddenly, the floor gave a great heave as though an earthquake was taking place. "Here we go!" shouted the old green grasshopper, hopping up and down with excitement. "Hold on tight!" "What's happening?" cried James, leaping out of his hammock. "What's going on?" The ladybird, who was obviously a kind and gentle creature, came over and stood beside him. "In case you don't know it," she said, "we're about to depart forever from the top of this ghastly hill that we've all been living on for so long. We're about to roll away inside this great, big, beautiful peach to a land to a land of what?" asked James. "Never you mind," said the ladybird. "But nothing could be worse than this desolate hilltop and those two repulsive ants of yours." "Hear, hear!" they all shouted. "Hear, hear!" "You may not have noticed it," the ladybird went on, "but the whole garden, even before it reaches the steep edge of the hill, happens to be on a steep slope, and therefore the only thing that's been stopping this peach from rolling away right from the beginning is this thick stem attaching it to the tree. Break the stem and off we go." "Watch it!" cried Miss Spider as the room gave another violent lurch. "Here we go." "Not quite, not quite. At this moment," continued the ladybird, "our centipede, who has a pair of jaws as sharp as razors, is up there on the top of the peach, nibbling away at that stem. In fact, he must be nearly all the way through it, as you can tell from the way we're lurching about. Would you like me to take you under my wing so that we won't fall over when we start rolling?" "It's very kind of you," said James, "but I think I'll be all right." Just then the centipede stuck his grinning face through the hole in the ceiling and shouted, "I've done it! We're off!" "We're off!" cried the others. "We're off!" "The journey begins," said the centipede. "And who knows where it will end," said the earthworm. "And if you have anything to do with it, it can only mean trouble." "Nonsense," said the ladybird. "We are now about to visit the most marvellous places and see the most wonderful things. Isn't that so, centipede?" "There's just no knowing what we'll see," said the ladybird. "We may see a creature with 49 heads who lives in the desolate snow, and whenever he catches a cold, which he dreads, he has 49 noses to blow. We may see the venomous pink-spotted scrunch who can chew up a man with one bite. It likes to eat 5 of them roasted for lunch and 18 for its supper at night. We may see a dragon, and nobody knows that we won't see a unicorn there. We may see a terrible monster with toes growing out of tufts of his hair. We may see the sweet little biddy bright hen, so playful, so kind and well bred, and such beautiful eggs. You just boil them and then they explode and they blow off your head. A gnu angosaurus, surely you'll see that ginormous and horrible gnat, whose sting when it stings you goes in at the knee and comes out the top of your hat. We may even get lost or be frozen by frost. We may die in an earthquake or tremor, or nastier still, we might even get tossed off the horns of a furious dilemma. But who cares? Let's just go from this horrible hill. Let's roll, let's bowl, let's plunge. Let's go rolling and bowling and spinning until we're away from old Spiker and Sponge." 1 second later, slowly, insidiously, almost gently, the great peach started to lean forward and steal into motion. The whole room began to tilt over, and all the furniture went sliding across the floor, and it crashed against the far wall. So did James, and the ladybird, and old green grasshopper, and Miss Spider, and the earthworm, and also the centipede, who'd just come slithering down the wall as well.